it is really difficult, you know, to get help and to have somewhere you can live that you can afford to live in with the wages you're earning.
That's why Sally, not her real name, has set up home in her car.
I was living in London and the rent had gone up too much, and I did go to the council, but I was offered a place, but it was 150 miles away and it was too far away for me. So I ended up sleeping in my car sometimes, and I realised it was a better option.
As people in the UK are becoming trapped by a combination of extortionate travel costs, unemployment, the price of housing and a difficult benefit system, whether it's shared rooms, boats or sleeping in cars, many are being forced to live in transient and alternative temporary accommodation.
I got some Madeira cake in it.
Monet himself could not have done it better.
Alan Bennett's film The Lady in the Van is based on a true story and invites us to empathise with the displaced and excluded. Starring Dame Maggie Smith, the story centres on a homeless pensioner who lives in the author's driveway. Away from the silver screen, there are thousands of similar rough sleepers that are out of sight. Although government figures estimate over 3,500 people are sleeping on UK streets on any one night, this does not include those who sleep in cars. Homeless charity Centrepoint believe those with such invisible lives need more support.
The statistics that are collected around homelessness in the UK are very varied. They don't necessarily give the whole picture, and that really excludes people who are sleeping in cars, who may be sleeping on friends' sofas, who may be squatting in buildings which really are unfit for habitation. So what we need is actually a much clearer picture of the scale of the problem, which is the only way you get it to rise up as a political priority and a funding priority for the government.
An investigation by the charity Crisis shows that 62% of those displaced don't show up in official figures. Thus, sleeping in car parks is a temporary solution that not only comes with many hazards, but often isn't even registered.
Statutory homelessness remains less than half the 2003 to 2004 peak. One person without a home is one too many. Our statistics have been independently assessed, and the government's position on tackling all kinds of homelessness is why we're investing over £500 million to tackle both the issues and to prevent it happening in the first place.
I won't refer to sleep in the cars. The cars are the worst to sleep, to stretch the legs. How are we going to stretch the legs?
But despite all hardships of living on four wheels, the prospect of having any kind of roof over their heads is appealing.
I mean, I'd live in a car if that's all I had, but it's not the ideal scenario, is it? I mean, I know a lot of people live in cars, but I've never had enough money to have one.
While sleeping in a car is illegal in many public areas like car parks and city centres, quieter locations like industrial estates and motorway stations have become undisclosed areas for those who sleep in their cars. And as isolating, cold or uncomfortable as it might be, many who are in the same position as Sally believe they have no choice but to end up as vehicle vagabonds. What's the reality of living in your car?
Well, it's not ideal. It's cold, and sometimes I have to always be careful where I park. Sometimes the service stations, but you can only stay there 2 hours. So I am moving around a lot. But I am sheltered and, dry. It's better than sleeping on the streets, or, at least I have got some protection.
Merry Christmas!
Martin Andrews.